Okay, so it is season 4 still. We're still in season 4. It's great. I know we always like to look to the future, but episode 18 is here and we have some good guests.
I'm excited for it. I like that you looked at me to make sure I understand what episode of season 4 it is, because I've been getting this wrong left and right.
No, I look at you because sometimes I forget. So I need to, it's like that eye contact thing. It's like, yes, that's what we're doing, right?
Hey, I'm calling myself back from the throes of death here, so hopefully my voice holds out for this. Let's do it.
Okay, Philip, so we have some wonderful guests that we're going to get right to. I'm not even going to waste time because I'm very excited about this group of individuals that have graced us.
I am too. Go ahead and lead us into this one.
Yeah, so we have a group of wonderful people that are here. They are all about Disney. That's right. They are all, I'm excited.
You're glowing.
I am glowing. I'm glowing up Disney. And if for those of you, check out that episode, the Glowing Up Disney episode. They are all about Disney for NPR, Illinois Community Voices, and for the Front Row Network. So we have with us Craig, Brett, and Vanessa, and they hold a weekly show discussing all things Disney. That includes films, parks, invited guests, and they have had 7 Disney legends on their show. So you have to check them out. They have a podcast called Beyond the Mouse Podcast. But today they are joining us, and we couldn't be more thrilled.
You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat. Huh?
Let's welcome them to the show. Hello, guys. What's going on? How are you?
Good,
We're
thanks.
great.
Good. Wow.
Hello.
Thank you. What an introduction.
Well, we could not be more
7?
thrilled to have you.
Great.
Well, tell us all about you guys a little bit. So how did the three of you meet and get together and decide that we need to do a Disney podcast?
Well, I'll say that, I created a podcast network about 7 years ago with my friend Jeremy Geckner, and we basically just got in front of microphones. At the time, it was one show. It was called Front Row Movie Reviews. And what we did was we wanted to drink beer and talk movies.
Yes.
So we got together, we drank beer, we talked movies, and then we kind of started to grow from there. We had other podcasts that we were listening to that we really enjoyed. And then we all kind of also had our own little niche areas. We brought on someone named Brandon Davis, who really loves classic film. And so that kind of expanded into our first kind of offshoot show, Front Row Classics. And then we had other shows that popped up along the way, talking about 80s, 90s, and 2000s movies. That's called Front Row Flashbacks. And then it just came to me that, like, you know what? I love Disney. So I started a show called Beyond the Mouse. And it was probably about 10 episodes into the show. I luckily invited on Brett and Vanessa, who I knew from community theater in the Springfield area, onto the show to talk about Moana, I believe was the episode. And from there, it just gelled. It made sense that these two become permanent co-hosts for the show. And so we've been doing that now for just about 5 years. And we've had so many episodes together. We're on episode 155 now. And so it's just incredible. We've actually started to go more to like a weekly. And actually the pandemic was really the reason why we went weekly, and Vanessa will tell you all about that.
Well, let me just say that during the pandemic, we were able to meet a little bit more because we were kind of sitting at home and not doing anything. And then one day, Craig asked us, "Hey, what do you think about going to a weekly?" And I believe Brett and I said, let's think about it. And then the next episode, Craig announced that we were a weekly podcast. So Brett and I are like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this. All right. I guess we are a weekly podcast." So that's how it came to be. And I'm looking forward to what else Craig will spring on us for the rest of our time doing our podcast. We'll see what happens. So I used to manage a performing arts theater, and Brett would come in to my desk and talk to me about Disney for hours. And so,
really? Well, it was a little, I was doing business there. And then while you were there, anyway.
How productive are you being?
Yeah, he's like, he's coming around a lot. I'm like, well, it's your turn to have. He's friends with my boss as well, so Brett would just kind of ping pong between my office and his office, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we would talk about Disney. So then, like Brett said, he was my in to being on the podcast, but it was just so nice because Brett and I had already been talking about Disney quite a bit. So then we just kind of brought that energy and forced it upon Craig, and then the three of us gelled, luckily, like Craig said. But yeah, that's Brett and I just kind of didn't work and talk about Disney all day. So that's what we did.
You love what you do. We love that you love that, and so we can feel that.
It is super cool. I like, by the way, that Moana was the episode that brought you all together because my daughter.
How far you'll go?
Yeah, my daughter and I were just watching the Olaf Presents little shorts again last night by chance, and the Moana one's by far the best. I love it when Olaf breaks out and I am Moana.
I'm actually.
I will say, I constantly tell these two that you're welcome for inviting you onto the show. So I try to keep it on the Moana.
And thank you.
Right, guys?
Very good, Greg.
And you get more Disney and less beer, right? Which is probably better for everything. We tend to have a couple of cocktails on the show now and again. And my wife finally had to put the kibosh on that a little bit. She's like, okay, guys, keep it to one.
We don't need the Disney show being narrated by you guys. So
there were nights in those early days where we would do 4 or 5 shows in a night just so we had stuff in the can, and those got testy. So it's probably a good thing that we don't do that as much anymore.
You can start to hear it by the end, right? You're like, oh yeah, that was episode 4 of that evening.
I know you said you came together with Moana, but is there a Disney either character or movie that you guys are really passionate about separately, or is it collectively you find yourselves on the same page?
Oh no,
I think that we are somewhat on the same page with one film. And so, do you want live action or do you want animated? That's my question.
I'll tell you what. Let's go with animated because that's where my Disney experience started, was with animation before live action, and then we can move into live action. We'll give it 2 categories.
Well, let me tell you that you talked about this. This was before everything was rolling for the show. We were kind of getting to know each other, and you mentioned that you had played LeFou regionally. And I will say that LeFou, one of my favorite characters in all of Disney, Beauty and the Beast, is one of those movies. It was the first movie I remember seeing as a child. And so the fact that it also goes on to such acclaim, it's the first animated film being nominated for Best Picture, actually celebrating 30 years now this year as well.
First Broadway Disney show too that came out, and it's honestly holds up as one of the best still to this day, in my opinion.
Yes.
So all right, so Beauty and the Beast is yours. I love that. What about your live action?
Oh, The Rocketeer. It's hands down. I mean, he's the first. He's the. Truly, I think that just ahead of its time, we would have had such a great franchise out of The Rocketeer had it come maybe like 8 to 10 years later in the slate of films, because it's such a wonderful tale of old Hollywood, which I love. I love classic movies and just that era of Hollywood. And then also you've got this superhero. It's amazing. He fights Nazis. I mean, come on, it's everything.
And saves the day with bubblegum. I mean,
that's
come
right.
On. Like, how can we not love this?
Cliff. It's so good. All right. So what about the rest of you? That's some pretty good choices.
Brett, you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, if we go into Disney lists, we could be here a while. So I'm just going to get right to it. Okay. So let's see. Classic Disney animated films, Snow White, the fairest of them all. Okay. Yes. For, post, Little Mermaid Renaissance, it gets really, there's top couple there. But I'm liking Tangled.
Okay.
I'm liking Tangled. I think it has a little bit of something for everyone. But, it's like picking, amongst, your favorites and all that sort of stuff. So that I
know it's hard. As I said, it's kind of a loaded question. So I know it's sometimes hard to narrow it down.
Yeah. But that one. Oh, and then live action Cinderella so far.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So far.
The first or the second? Because are there 2? Or the second one's not really Disney, right?
No, the
one that Billie Eilish did
with Lily James, directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Okay, and that's actually Disney. Okay, I'm clear.
Yes, and Kate Blanchett and all of those people.
I love Kate Blanchett, actually.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
I know.
I will say for me, I'm pretty inconsistent. I will change my mind. I don't really have some hard favorites. I just appreciate the company as a whole and the efforts that get put into creating anything. I think sometimes people want to be really critical and really hard of like new movies and do a lot of comparison. And I just appreciate the effort that was put into it. So it may not be the absolute best, may not be my favorite, but I always appreciate everything that comes out from Disney. I think if I had to pick an animated today, which this will change in maybe even 5 minutes, I would probably pick Aladdin, just because the voice acting is so stellar in that. And it's just a fun movie. And then live action, I agree with Bragg. Cinderella is still kind of the one to beat in my eyes. But ask me in 5 minutes. Maybe I'll change my mind.
You know what? We may actually test that theory out.
I'll share with you all a funny little story that dates me a little bit. So Beauty and the Beast was 91 and Aladdin was 92, and I was 11 and 12 respectively when these things came out. And I remember specifically little smarty pants that I thought that I was. In Beauty and the Beast in particular, with the ballroom dancing scene, it was one of the first times I'd seen Disney overlaying CG into their animation. And I thought to myself as a little kid, that doesn't work. That's never going to, why would they do that? That's never going to stick, And then sure enough in Aladdin with the cave, I'm like, oh, they're doing it again. Come on. A few years later, I was like,
how you're like, they're doing it again. Like you have say in that.
I was like, oh, CG does work out pretty well. It's here to stay. Okay, I get it now. It was definitely couldn't have been more wrong about that.
It's incredible you were thinking about that, though. What did you say, 11 or 12?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
My mind wasn't on that.
Mine either. I do remember seeing Aladdin in the theaters, and I remember walking out, singing all the songs and things like. Same with Lion King.
Oh yeah,
but
I remember seeing it at 12 years old in the theaters, and I thought to myself, how did the genie know about all those modern people that he was doing impressions of?
The genie.
I know.
You really thought into this.
Yeah,
like I said.
You just stumped the Disney fans right now.
I saw one too many, Paradox time travel episodes of Star Trek. I was going, wait a minute here. This messes everything up.
What's one of the one critiques that you guys get from people about Disney that you hear or that has been coming out recently?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say like right now, of course, there's whenever a company decides to enter the political realm a bit more than they have in the past, that always going to inflame people, especially, just because we are so political in our daily lives, just 24 hours a day. It's like you can never escape it. Talk about neighbors just getting together and just chatting about things. That is something that we need absolutely desperately more of, for sure. And so I would say that I'm, personally, very happy with the recent stands that they've taken as a company. And I think that corporations do have a responsibility. If they're going to be entering politics through donations, they also need to enter politics with their voice and protecting those cast members and protecting the people that they represent as well. And so I'm happy about that. But clearly it's gotten people riled up. We have the whole situation in Florida with Reedy Creek and basically the land that Walt Disney World sits on kind of being its own self-governance, but that's being threatened right now by the Florida legislature and by the governor. And so there's an awful lot of politics going on. And I would say on the inverse of that, I do think that we also, probably all three of us, get a little bit every now and then, like, you guys are adults. Why do you like Disney? And so certainly that's something that happens an awful lot. But it's just really like my attraction to Disney as a company and product is that they make you feel that childlike wonder, but also they have such amazing tales, these fictions that we love growing up, those stories that they've taken from Brothers Grimm or other fairy tales and adapted to a modern audience. And they're able to share these. And it's just in a way that's musically well done. As someone that loves musical theater, it's done in a beautiful animation style. I mean, what is there not to like about that? Also, I do think that they do a lot of positive good for the world, for sure. So those are kind of the things I hear a lot. Of course, the political stuff that's going on now, but then also the, hey, what's with this Disney adult thing?
I think, as a single person who is a fan of Disney, I've traveled to Disney parks with other groups, other individuals, other singles. And each time I've gone, I kind of take it, you kind of go, when you go into a Disney park, you see it in different ways. One time I went with a friend of mine who was really into gardening. And so I was kind of seeing everything through her eyes. And even after that time, when I go, I will notice now all of, the flowers and all of that. And from my experience, I'm a former cast member too. So I had a lot of experience in Walt Disney World Entertainment. So I think what I brought from that experience when I left, I kind of had my sort of my design aesthetic and sort of my I was trained through all of the design that is through Disney. So I enjoyed those aspects. And then I sort of did a career move and am now a digital media artist. And so now I see textures and paint treatments and all of that. So, it's not like when you go to the Disney park, you go as you are. So right now I'm an adult person. So I'm seeing, as I said, different painting techniques and all of that sort of stuff. So it's not all kid stuff. It's whatever you bring to that. And when you travel with other people, you see how they enjoy the park. So then that becomes part of your, I don't know, entertainment palette. I don't know. How are you?
Actually, I really like
sort
how
of
you
your
said that.
experiences.
I like that entertainment palette. I actually, it's really, really refreshing. That's a good way to put it.
You heard it here first. Okay.
There we go. But I saw that you got the chance to talk with Anthony Daniels, which I would.
That was a good day.
It would have been a great day. I cannot even tell you how
He was
excited
so
I am
kind.
for Obi-Wan to come out and for all the things and we kind of geek out about that, but with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and the people and the creatives that they're bringing on for all these new projects, it's really incredible, and also incredible seeing where some of this material and stuff is coming from, the books and the comics and the writers and things like that are bringing a lot more. Do you guys find that that people are more aware of the Imagineers and the people behind the scenes nowadays more than they are, the face of the projects, from the actors and the CEOs and things like that?
I think so. I would say that like in the last 10 years or so, and maybe even longer, there's been a lot more content creators online as we both have a podcast. And I think, with YouTube being able to share out so much content from creators, I think people are getting to know those kind of behind the scenes people from the Disney company a lot better. I will say for me personally, I'll tell people, I'm talking to, I don't want to say any name. I don't want to give shade on anybody, but let's say a lesser known celebrity. I'll tell my family and they'll be like, oh, okay, who's that? And then when I tell them what they do, they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So yeah, it's not always that we're talking to, the Tom Hankses of the world, the big ace celebrity people. But, we do get to talk to a lot of creative people. And I don't know, it's so great to get to talk to them because they're humans. They're people, they're creative people. So they usually have a lot of really interesting, kind things to say. There are some that we've spoken to where I think they've been through so many interviews through their lives that it's kind of like, okay, media person, what do you want to ask?
Yeah, I've already answered this 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. So we really try to kind of impress upon them that we're just wanting to talk human to human, and whatever you feel like sharing, we're not here to pry or be like an investigative reporter. We just want to have a really kind and thoughtful conversation. So it's been wonderful. And I do hope that through our conversations, we get to give them a little more spotlight or a little more name recognition, even though they are very deserving without us even interviewing them.
Do you guys have a top three? Do you guys have a top three of people who've had the chance of speaking with on the show?
Gosh.
I know Brett's like, oh my gosh, the list. Or I guess, or a memorable a moment from the show of someone you gotten to speak
yes. Well, I think my favorite Alan Menken moment was with Vanessa, when Vanessa asked, so what are you having for dinner?
Now listen.
It was great. I mean, it was a great interview. No, it was a great interview. She just, said, what are you having for dinner? And said, chicken. But he said that he was the cook. I'm like going, when are you going to find out that Alan Menken is the cook for the family? I mean, you find it out on Beyond the Mouse, and Vanessa asks that question. But it was great. It was a great moment.
I have a musical parent, right? My mom is the town piano player. So I know her as mom, but everyone else knows her as pianist, right? And so I imagine it was the same for Alan Menken. Well, who are you to your family? You know, to us, you're Alan Menken. So when he said that he was the cook, I just thought, natural question: what are you making tonight? You know,
so that's how that worked. It was the reverse.
That's how that worked.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that I'm going to get known as the crazy lady who asks random questions of our celebrity guests.
What's in your fridge?
That's great.
Well, no, we
didn't ask that. No, it was a wonderful question. Yeah.
We can definitely relate to that, I think. I mean, Brian and I have had similar experiences with actors and people that we've had on that I think are quite grateful for questions like that, you know, because it finally...
Yeah, they absolutely love it.
Yeah, they get to be seen instead of just being seen as X box.
Yes, absolutely. You don't want to have that, like, you could always ask, and they've been asked 1,000 times, what was it like to film XYZ scene or be on the set? It's, if you can dig just a little bit deeper or talk about one of their other projects, then I think that they're much more willing to open up. And we try to, you know, this is like giving you our trade secrets here, but I always try to get a question like that almost in the first one or two questions, because then it really helps open up the guests to be like, okay, well, this person did their homework, first of all, but second of all, it allows them to actually just have fun and enjoy the interview. Then you can get to those questions that are like, you know, Anthony Daniels, what was it like being with George Lucas this whole time? You can get to that. But if you open it up with something different that maybe he's not expecting, then I think you get a better response from that. So yeah, but in terms of my favorites, I will say we are really grateful to Kevin Lima, who is a director. He directed Tarzan. He directed a Goofy movie. He's directed Enchanted and some other movies for the Disney company as well. And, you know, it's just like, he was really the one that gave us our drive to go out and continue to get these celebrity interviews. So that one's important to me.
Well, you got to stand out. You got to stand out, Craig.
That's right. You got to stand out for sure.
Make it to the Powerline concert. Would you go to a Powerline concert?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Who wouldn't go to a Powerline concert?
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like that's offensive that you would even ask. I don't know. No.
And, you know, for everyone that's listening, if you want to check out Beyond the Mouse podcast, you can find them almost wherever you listen to your podcast: Spotify, Apple, NPR, Stitcher. You know, you can go on, find them on Instagram. Tell them what's up. Let them know that you love what they're doing, and, you know, share your favorite Disney moments with them. I'm sure they'd love to hear it, or what you are cooking for dinner.
Indeed. Feel free to check out the links in our episode description where you can find them as well.
That's right. We drop new episodes every Friday, but also remember, Philip, we have something special coming up for us. Our season finale is going to be coming up soon, and we are doing a recording, on-site recording at Miss Carousel Bar and Cocktail Lounge here in Houston, Texas. So come out. We'll have some extra mics out. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for all. Live to tape, about 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
May 7th.
Absolutely. Hit us up on social media. Remember to leave us those audio messages, and we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, this is fun.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. For more videos and fun, subscribe to the channel. Catch full episodes wherever you get your podcast, or go to neighborsdon'tknock.com.